Hi everyone, welcome to Native Inspiration Bonsai YouTube channel. My name is Marcella Ferreira and I'm very passionate about growing Australian natives as bonsai. I've been doing bonsai for around 30 years, starting with exotics, and then I turned my attention to our trees around 15 years ago. I aim to share my experiences and knowledge with you all to help you with your journey, growing and developing our trees as bonsai to make it easier and more rewarding. We aim to share videos as often as possible. In the meantime, please enjoy our first video on a Melaleuca bracteata, which I worked on in front of a small audience a couple of months ago. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my partner and number one supporter, Nicole, who has helped me throughout this new journey. Glenn and Liam, who helped us with the editing of this video. I would also like to thank everyone who has supported me to this point. Please enjoy the video and more to come. Thank you from Native Inspiration Bonsai. Thank you everyone for coming along today. It means a lot to have the support from all of you here. So I'm going to be working on this Melaleuca bracteata, the gold gem. It's actually not that old in terms of the scheme of things. I think it originates from Julie Healy and her dad, probably around the 2016-15 mark, I think, from memory. And I thought that doing something like this today would be something beneficial in terms of just going through and trying to work my way through and hopefully explain to you guys how I do it when we get material like this. Because it's not often that we can get material like this, particularly when it comes to natives. So yeah, that's the whole point of today. I've had a good look through it. Obviously it's already got direction and flow and it's all going towards one way, either way, depending on what side we use it. I ended up using it as a front. I have been looking through it. The issues that it has at present is there's a lot of branching going on, a lot of very thick branches too, and also we've got three trees that we aren't really seeing. They don't have their own spot, they don't have their own place in the design. So at the moment it's just a mass of a canopy, and I think we need to address all those issues. So my aim today will be structural wiring in terms of just putting sort of some structure into the piece, and then just working my way through it. So hopefully we can get through that today. Any questions, any comments, anything that doesn't make any sense, please just know.
Can I just ask a maintenance question?
Yeah.
As you know, I'm growing one species of Melaleuca in water all year round.
Yeah.
Do you reckon this would be a good species to grow in
The
water all year
bracteata,
round?
in winter I wouldn't have it in water, but I would definitely have a tray so that it's just catching some of that runoff and then it can just take it up as it wants to. But I wouldn't be sitting it in complete water.
Yeah.
Not the bracteata. But I know what you're growing. The Raphaelia, you definitely would wanting it in water, but not this particular over winter. I've got another one, this one and the claret tops. I think it's pretty good candidates to keep them sort of in a tray, just catching that runoff over the winter. Because I found that they tend to get a lot of dieback as soon as the water access isn't there. So I think that's one of the beneficial things, particularly with us in winter. We get a lot of colder, you don't want to sort of be sitting in water continually. But if it's just catching that runoff and then it drinks it up as it wants it, I think it should be fine. I need to obviously get it into a much more manageable pot, which I hope to do soon. But it all depends on how much work I do to it. So yeah. Any other questions? Anyone growing these?
No.
No?
A green revolution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very similar. So the bracteatas, I think they definitely would benefit from having that extra water. And the gold colour too it's more prominent. I don't think it might be the gold gem, the true gold gem, because the true gold gem will actually be true yellow, right? In particular over winter, that's when it's even more evident, I've noticed. So this could possibly be the, I think it's a gold revolution or something. Revolution gold, yeah. So, it's hence why you've got more of the yellowish tip sort of.
I found with my gold gem, if I grow it under shade cloth, it goes green.
Yeah.
But then out in the sun, it'll come back yellow again.
Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you what I've been sort of, what I really love about it, and what I find are sort of issues that we need to sort of overcome today. Obviously, I love the character, the age, the shape of the trees, the lines, the flowing, all of that is actually, to me, stunning.
That's my front.
Through here, yeah. What I don't like about it is that it's got a lot of branches that, as I said, we've got 3 trees that we aren't actually seeing, right? So we need to somehow make a character of each tree, but then at the same time all be within the silhouette. Does that make sense? Yeah? That's what I've been looking at. That is what I like as the front too, because what it is what we normally want to see in bonsai is we want to see that, particularly at the base, we want it to sort of go in and then come towards us. This side, if you can have a look, does a similar sort of thing, and it actually isn't too bad through there, but I don't know if you can all see this, but this looks really straight through there. Can you sort of see how straight that makes it? So all the branches to make it a mark, to actually work with, are actually over on this side. Like if you know, there's a nice branch for this, the middle tree, and there's a lot of branch in here, for the main tree. But it's just the zigzaggy bit here is just making it look quite straight, and even by tilting it towards you, it doesn't really change it at all whatsoever.
No.
Right?
It's more straight.
Exactly. So I agree with Daryl, and I agree. I really like it through here. So it's not, it's not dead on there or at the moment, but it's definitely, there's much more character going in through here. And we can see into the 3 trees. But what I was looking at yesterday, I was playing around with, was just a slight angle change. Yeah, thanks. And how does that look? Does it feel like it's just sort of separating the trunks a little bit more, giving them a little bit more space, whereas before they seemed to be quite flat?
I think it's probably narrowed the gap between the back tree and the top, so you don't have, and it seems you lose a bit of the movement actually in that back by lifting it. I think if it's lower,
I might have lifted it probably a bit too high.
You see a bit more movement. At the moment, I mean, they look sort of right in front of each other. You don't see the gap between the trees.
Yeah. So I did have it a little bit lower. I think it was about there. Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
At
little
least the
bit
space is not uniform.
Yeah.
And when it's flat, you've got that uniform space between the things. At least now there's a bigger negative space, whereas a smaller at the bottom.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was about what I was looking at yesterday. So obviously these are things you need to consider when you've got, particularly if you've got 3 branches, 3 trees, which are almost similar in size as well. So they need their own space, and they need to be able to be visible and have their own character. So I'm pretty happy with sort of that angle. When I go to repot it, it'll be an interesting exercise, so to speak. But that'll be just a slow thing. It's probably not going to go into its actual, eventual pot, final pot, first off. So, but anyway, I think Michael had been sort of slowly raising it off out of the pot, and you can see that would have been the soil level at some point. So I think I might actually want to try and get that down eventually a little bit lower down, but that's just down the track. Also, another thing too that I was concerned about, I don't know if you can zoom in on that. I don't know if you can see these little entrance holes. Can you see those in there? Something's going on in there.
Oh, you reckon there's bugs or something?
Something's, yeah, because they're quite deep and they're quite sort of, they're quite large. I mean, I can put my finger in there. So something's been getting in there, and who knows what's going on with the root system. So that's another thing I need to, tend to fairly soon as well. But anyway, let's move on. So we're all happy with this, and we understand why we got there, why we've done it. Good. Alright, the next thing is choosing the direction. As I said to you before, the tree's obviously got direction, it's all going that way. Most of the branches are sort of in an okay sort of position. But then I've got this massive thing here. Right? So this is that big branch there on its own, which just really doesn't work with the design. Ordinarily, because it doesn't work with the design, and say if we were doing a demonstration and we're trying to, make it like, look how great we are, we'd probably go there and we'd get rid of it. But look at the line and the character that actual tree in itself has. So I'm actually going to do an air layer on that.
Okay.
Right? So I'll do the air layer into there. Have you done air layers before?
Yeah.
You have, yeah.
I've
Have
tried.
you? You've tried? So I'll try and do that quickly.
Not on this species.
Not
Does
on
it
this
work pretty
species.
well?
Well, I haven't done it on these, but I have done it on the paperback Melaleucas, and they seem to take a lot longer than your rough bark ones.
Yeah.
You did it on the variants, and that took a bit longer too, didn't it?
I think the variance was actually okay. I left it longer.
Right, okay.
When I took it off, I probably could have removed before because it was very solid. So.
Yeah, okay. I did it on a Lanarifolia, and I actually had quite a large tree, and I took about 4 or 5 different spots, and I took sort of cut them all off at different times just to see, and I think the one that I left the longest was the best. And longest, it probably would have been about 6 months. So yeah, it definitely took, needed a bit longer time. So yeah, there's nice, interesting character in through that, in through there. So if that air layer takes, I can have another little tree in there. So I'll do that.
So where will you air layer? Just right
pretty low down, yeah, pretty much into there.
try and pick up maybe that branch?
No,
trunk?
no. I was looking at that. I was looking at the possibility of doing that, but if anything, I would probably want it to come towards here, and it's not gonna go.
Yeah.
It's just way too brittle. So this branch here, Andrew.
I was wondering if you're going to keep that as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I don't think I'm going to get it to do what I wanted to do to come into here. There's a back branch in here that I might be able to possibly bring bring a little bit lower down, and some of these could possibly come towards the back here to fill in that space as well. But having said that, before when I was getting myself prepared for the air layer, I was thinking whether I should go a little bit higher, but then I started sort of trying to, do what I normally do, which is give it a gentle massage to see how far I'll be able to get it to move, and it's not going to do it. So there's no point. This will hopefully come in towards here somehow and fill in some of that, that space there. Negative space. I know you and I talked about it when you were here.
Yeah.
I think in some ways, and it's probably controversial, and I'm not sitting on the fence on it, I think negative space is a bit subjective, right? It's not there should be some there and there should be some there. It should be what kind of works with the design and what works with the tree. That's the way I see it anyway. So, what you might think I need something there, and I might go, well, no, I don't. So, I think at the end of the day, it's about how you feel, and as long as you work with the tree, I think something evolves, and it just becomes, worthy of just being there or not being there. So
if this was a species you reckon that would be flexible enough to pull its big trunk over, would you go for it or not?
If it was younger and I could do it, but then
It's
what
got
am
to
I?
work with the design, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really. What's it going to do? It's kind of going to be coming over the top, and it's going to be very forced. What Quentin's saying is to try and bring this to go over, towards, so that it goes in with the flow of the tree. But I don't see it. I think it's just going to be way too forced. And when it's too forced, I think that's when it's obvious. And I know that I won't be happy with myself if I was to do that, just for the sake of just having something there. I'm hoping that once this is gone and some of these are put into place, that I'll have, possibly, and once it gets repotted too, I'll get something happening in here, and hopefully I'll start getting some growth back too. Also too, once this goes and this gets taken off, I know for sure I'll get something coming out through here. So they'll definitely back bud. Insert, wherever I found, particularly with a lot of Melaleucas, if there's some sort of trauma or something's happened to a particular area, it'll force them to actually shoot. Just as a responsive mechanism, in terms of them wanting to continue. So yeah, no, I don't see. No, it's just not flexible enough. I don't want to be forcing and pulling anything over. It's just not worth it. I honestly don't think it's worth it. So, having said that, I can either show you how to do the air layer now. Do you want me to? Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we know that that's going to go.
Great changes his mind.
Wait a minute.
I like that.
You can use that. Alright. So I've got all my stuff here ready. And I've got a pretty sharp knife. And I'm gonna I'm not a big fan of gins. I think gins have to have a place and a reason for being there. I think if I was to leave a gin there and have this little pokey thing there, it would draw my eye to it a bit more. So I'm going to go sort of as close as I can to there. Start it there. And just go all the way around. So don't get me wrong, I do like gins. Just because I said I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan when they're in there just because I think they need to have a reason and a purpose for them to be there.
So is that serrated knife?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was wondering, it sounded.
It sounds like.
Yeah. Works pretty good actually. It was one of those those ones that sort of they put on those shopping channels that they're meant to be sharp for the term of your life. It's done a lot of things.
At least you know you're getting through the camera.
Yeah, exactly. You can see it's quite.
Yeah, could have cut a tomato now.
Yeah, it's pretty much you do that. So the bark.
Is this, I know you've got to do this, but is this the optimal time you would choose to relay it?
I just do it whenever I need to do it.
Yeah.
I think, I'm working on the tree now, so I'll just, I'll just do it, yeah. If it takes a little longer, it takes a little longer. As you know, I repot my trees all year round. I just do one thing at a time. I do things when I need to do them. I don't wait for the optimal time for anything. I just do it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I just, I have another go. I know that when I did an air layer on a coastal tea tree last year, that was at the optimal time, but I used the pot method, and that just didn't work. So I think that thing was in there for could have almost been almost 9 or 10 months or something, and I took it out and there was absolutely no roots whatsoever, and it actually calloused over. So I just reopened it up again and exposed the canyon again and and then it and did it again, and then did just the bag method, and then within a couple of weeks the thing's popping out shoots all over the place, and that was done. Might have actually been colder weather, so yeah. Can you see it's okay? When do you normally do it, Quentin?
If I had my one chance and this is what I really wanted to do, I would probably do it a bit later than now, probably October, but I'll be happy to do it now.
So more like late spring then?
Yeah, mid-spring, mid to late spring.
Yeah.
But you've got to have the optimal chance and time, and we've all got other stuff we do, so it doesn't always work out.
The other thing too is that, there's this myth that natives have pretty much inactive over winter, and that's not true. They are still pushing growth, and they are still active. So that's why I don't think there's an optimal time. They're just a lot slower, But I mean, we're in the last month of winter, of the calendar winter. The weather has this different idea of what winter and summer and blah 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 is. So this thing within September, October will just start popping out, like crazy. So I don't, hence why I don't really subscribe to that optimal thing, timing thing. I think if you've got to do something, you just do it. Similarly with digging, if we've got to collect something, and it's the only chance that you've got to do it is whenever it is, then just do it.
I've never tried the little, I've never tried them, the plastic bowl type of things that, I know BSV sells them, don't they?
Bowl?
Yeah, like shaped like a black bowl when they just
onion
clip around.
Oh, okay, no, I haven't seen those, no.
Manufactured specifically for airline.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that for the sort of nursery industry, I assume?
I don't know if it's nursery industry, might be just hobby industry, I'm not sure. Yeah. I know BSV sells, I think Northwest had a few last week. I've never tried them. But you've got to have almost the right size trunk to fit in them. So
Oh, really? They're small?
Yeah, well, you can get different sizes, but they're fixed sizes. So you might be unlucky and that mightn't work very well.
I think this approach gives you more flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I also found with the pot method, it kind of like just seemed a little bit, just a bit tricky to, sort of maneuver. And then you also couldn't tell whether you had roots or not. You have to wait till you've got roots at the bottom. So with this, I'm able to see it better. So now what I'm going to do is just going to paint on the rooting hormone. It's the purple one, that's the one that I use. I did use the powder, but I found the powder didn't seem to work as good, so I just use this now, and it seems to do the trick. So I'm just going to paint mostly at the base of where the tree will be, and then I'll just go down it just a bit, just so that I've got more chances of roots developing all over anyway. So just paint it on as thickly as you can. The other thing with powder too was I always thought, you dilute it down, but I always wondered how much of it actually stayed onto the trunk once you start filling, using the sphagnum moss and backfilling with that. So with this, I've had far more success.
This one just makes way more sense, I think, Rob. I could never understand why you would put a dry powder on a section you wanted to keep moist.
Yeah.
And you're putting a dry powder on it.
Yeah.
But I wet the area and then I paint the dry powder on, so it makes like a sticky thing, and then you just sort of push to wedge it up against the cut.
I was going to say you could put this one and then the dry powder on top.
On top, just
Maximise
my chances, yeah.
Do you ever cut up your sphagnum or you just leave it?
No, I just leave it as chunky, nice and chunky, and
Yep.
I'm very much of a practical sort of person. I just do things so that it's easy for me. I don't get too caught up with, you should do this and you should do that. I just sort of do things, and I find that, somehow, whether it's by pure luck or whatever, but it just seems to work. So yeah, I don't get too caught up with all those little nuances that everyone says you should do this and you should do that. So let me do how I want to do it. And if it doesn't work, I've only got myself to blame. So what I don't do is tie the top bit really, really tight. I want to give myself room for the water to get the water through. I know that Craig went through many syringes trying to get water in, water into the, to water it. Because obviously, for people that have never done an air layer, you need to get water into it. So you need to water it daily at least, or if you're doing it over the warmer weather, you want to be watering it daily. Over the cooler weather, obviously not as much. But I find that most people tend to do quite a tight knot in there, and then you've got no way of getting water in there. So I leave myself a little bit more of a gap, just so that I can easily get some water into it in there. But I do make sure that the sphagnum moss is making as much contact with the trunk as possible. And you want some water to leak out. You don't want it just saturating in there. But you get you get the gist. And I'll just tie that in there. So hopefully, whether it's in a few weeks' time or a couple of months' time, I should hopefully have a tree there, another little tree. If it doesn't work, if it's calloused over, maybe it's not gone in enough into the heartwood. If it doesn't work, I'll try it again. If not, then I'll just cut that branch off. I won't worry about it. Okay. But given that it had such a nice line, I think it's has merit to try and keep something in there. What I will do though is probably just take some of the real thick stuff that's going on in here. Now all of these little shoots should actually hopefully help it to also create those new roots in there because of the oxygen's going through. Alright, so we've done that, I've taken you through that. Fingers crossed that'll work. Now let's move through the tree. So what I might do, black on black, I might get lost. So that hopefully we can see the tree a little bit better.
Okay, but it makes the tree dark.
Dark? Too dark? How's that?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's alright?
Yeah.
Alright. All that I'll just tie it up. Crappy 1mm wire comes in handy for a lot of things. Alright. That's great. Yep. Alright. Help yourself some more of the thank you. There you go. Alright, now we can kind of see it a little bit better. So that little bit there, that's gone. So I'll just get rid of it so it's not impeding our view. Alright, so my main task is, so I'm thinking that maybe that can sort of sit in here somewhere. How does that look?
You're not worried about the flow. You're very strong movement to the left. Sorry, doesn't matter. The branches then coming back.
Which one? This one coming back?
So because you've quite a few strong branches at the back as well, which seem they go against the flow.
All these ones here? The middle tree? Is that what you mean?
No, this sort of branch here, the one that you said you're going to put in the back there?
Yeah.
And this branch as well, it comes against the flow.
Which one?
This one. Because you hold your movements from the sort of right to left and then get the placement of the foliage.
Yeah.
Does the branch going against the flow not worry you more around the foliage?
I guess if I'd sort of take, probably don't want the length of it.
Mhm.
I probably don't, definitely don't want the length of it. I mean, if it was, if I could cut it back and knowingly feel that be confident that I would get back budding, I'd probably be happier if it was actually quite a smaller pad in here, just to fill up a little bit in here. So what I'm sort of thinking is either I wire it into place and cut back as much as I'm confident to do so, because that's another thing too. They're not overly reliable in where they back bud too. So that's another issue with them. So just because you cut to bare wood doesn't mean that it will actually give you growth there. So I do understand what you're saying, but I think there needs to be something just something here. Probably not this far back. And how much I can probably move that and maybe zigzag it a little bit into here, it would probably be sort of, I think it'd be okay. I would love to eventually cut it back and chase the growth back. And that's just, again, that's another issue too. It's just been allowed to get long and big and leggy. And that's the thing you don't want to be doing, right? When you're growing things on, I think Michael might have spent a lot of time just, concentrating on getting it big, and not really getting to, not getting, stuck into it and not letting it too leggy. So that's one thing that you must do too. Just don't allow, just because you're growing it on doesn't mean you need to let it get leggy. You can grow it on, but cut back so that you're redistributing that energy more evenly, and you'll get, better results by doing that too, and better branch options as well.
Talking about growing it on, was those tight bends wired in there, or you reckon they were there naturally?
I think he said that George had already put quite a few bends in them, but he might have done quite a bit more. I mean, obviously none of this would have been, So I don't know whether he's wired those through or what he would have done, but he did say that they were quite sort of twisty when he got them. So let's get that wired up and let's see where we're happy with it, and that'll kind of sort of direct everything, right? It's not necessarily the leading branch or the main branch, but it's going to sort of direct how, where we go with other things. So I'll wire that up. And I'm going to be using copper because it'll just be a lot easier to manage some of these branches. Have you used copper? Not yet.
So it's copper stronger than aluminium?
Yeah. So like this is 12. That would probably be the equivalent of what?
Looks like 3.
5 or
No, is it?
6 probably.
Holding ability?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5.
5, yeah. 5 mil. So yeah. So it's got much more holding capability. But the only issue is that, well, there's 2 issues. It's very expensive. You can't unwind it as you can with aluminium.
Yeah, really nice to work with.
It is nice.
It's very nice.
This one's nice.
Yeah.
This is Joe's one.
Yeah.
Different to the other.
That's only 1 kilogram size.
So your application is exactly the same as your aluminium, but it's just got better holding capability.
Because once you've used it, or once you've twisted it, it sort of hardens
It
up.
hardens up, yeah. That's why you can't unwind
That's the
it.
advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes on and then you set and it stays where it is. In thumb theory anyhow.
But also too is that you need to make sure that the application is correct, that it actually makes contact with the with the branch. So they putting it on and then it doesn't make contact. Now you need to be able to see that, but I need to be able to see it to see where I'm putting it.
Can I just ask, in your general working through a tree, do you place the branches as you work up the tree, or just wire it all and then place?
It depends on. This is more of a puzzle. So if it's a tree that I know what I'm doing with, I'll definitely just wire up and then I'll place. But when it's a puzzle like this one is, it's definitely, I just set something. Sometimes I'll set the apex, what I think might be the apex, and then that'll sort of guide me through the rest of the tree. But if this is today this is the branch that we're sort of a little bit unsure about. So if I can kind of set this one in somewhere where I'm okay with, then the rest of it I can, start working my way through. So each tree is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have like, I do this or that. It's always, based on the tree. Now you might see that I'm sort of twisting it. Can you see that I'm twisting it? See?
Yeah.
And I'm twisting it so that I give myself some more bending capability. Simply trying to bend it as it is might, not give me that enough bending space. But if I start twisting it, it means that I'm tearing the fibres and then I'm able to get a little bit more bending manipulation. That's where you are. That's what I've got. The size of this black ant.
Yeah, I saw that before.
Ants.
Something with some sort of ant with big wings on it or something.
They came out of those holes.
Did it? Probably. Something's in there.
You just took it out of its home.
Some things can live there, some things can't. I probably could have even gone, what did I use? 12, 10 on this. Has that branch turned itself over yet? The one that we bent?
Haven't looked.
You haven't looked. We worked on Andrew's tree a couple of weeks ago, and one of the branches we completely just turned it, turned it completely over the other, So it'd be interesting to see what it does. I said to him it'll turn itself over, it's just it'll take a little while. Alright. Just let me have a look. Yep, that's not bad. Again, I'll cut this back. I can't cut it back too hard yet, but just to give you an idea anyway. That's not its final destination, but it just gives you an idea of where I think I want something to be sitting at. Okay, not too far out this way, but then I'll play around with these. But I want to get as much of it as I can done, and then obviously you'll all see the finished design once I've finished it in a day or so, but you're here for the structural side of things. Alright, so that kind of gives me some idea. So now, to me, that has to be the apex of this tree. What do we think?
I think so. Yep.
Everything else is way too far out. So I think that and again, I've got a lot going on in here. It's reasonably flexible enough that I can probably move it over a little bit. And I would like to actually lift it a little bit. But then, watch what happens when I lift it. See how it goes quite straight? Can you see that straightness? So, I might not be able to lift it too much. It might just be the way I might just be to basically make a choice around here. So again, I've got 3 quite heavy branches in here. If you guys were doing this, what would you choose as your apex?
But I don't like, from my angle, where the one that you're holding sits.
This
yeah,
Yeah.
it just sticks out like that.
Yeah.
Where the other 2 are sort of going in the same
Yeah.
direction. So
Yeah.
look at getting rid of that or doing something to.
And from this angle, it's too straight.
Yeah, yeah. And these are kind of have a little bit of movement and
Yeah,
you can
they
sort of
look
play
a lot
around with
nicer.
something filling in here. Yeah, I agree with you. So these are the decisions that you make. And also too, if there is movement and you can play around with it, then maybe it's it's a candidate for keeping. But also, what should help with your decision making is the amount of foliage that are left on the others as well. Right, there's no point in keeping something that, I mean, we're lucky that we've got pretty much even foliage mass on all three. But say, for argument's sake, that these were quite weak, but they look good, right? And it could be because this one's quite full and it's taken away all the energy, but the energy seems pretty sort of even all through. So it's just something to keep in mind, because if you can still, it's flexible enough that you can actually move it into position and and make a change with, then probably go with the one that has a little bit more vigor. All right. There's no point in keeping something that's a little bit weaker, and kind of hope that because you've taken everything else around it off, that it might actually gain some vigor and some strength. Right. Okay. So it's just something to keep in mind of. But I do agree with you. I don't like the straightness and the angle and the strength that's sort of coming out with. So I will delete that. Some of you have heard me say that. And similarly, see how that is doing a very similar thing. So now let me have a look at it towards me. Now I don't mind the height of it actually, I mind not. But the issue I guess is see everything that's going on at the back. What's going to happen is that now we've got nothing here, right? So I don't want to cheat and create things that are, again, forced, and none of this can sort of come towards. Ideally, it would have been nice if some of these were actually coming towards this way, or that we got a lot more going on in here. And maybe once I start opening things up again with a repot, I might get more growth in here.
What about if you twist the back, this branch? This one's coming out here, if you twisted it
towards the back?
That's where, yeah, and then you sort of took that tail down into there.
Yeah, into here?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
might be able to.
That's something that's definitely worth considering, that's for sure. So
these branches on this side, yeah, they would fit in, fit into
feeling to here.
on the right hand side, yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that we can definitely do through there. And then we can do something like that there to give us a bit of an apexing through here. Yeah, I can do that. So I'm not going to, like I said, if I lift this up, it becomes quite straight.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no point, we don't gain anything by doing that. So let's just see if I'll put some wire onto those two. Again, and when you're using copper, or any wire really, but more so with copper, is make sure that you push it into as I said before, as you're applying the wire on, get rid of anything that's going to impede your flow. So by that I mean any little sort of stubs or anything like that, because your flow wants to be nice and smooth as you're wiring. And make sure that you push the wire or the branch into the wire. They're all very quiet.
Don't break concentration.
I'm a woman. I can talk.
Don't start that.
We can multitask.
Those sort of the heavy pieces at the back.
Yep.
You're keeping all of those? Yeah.
No.
Would you consider lowering any of that off?
No, they're a lot of them are quite straight. Yeah, quite straight. Too thin. There's not much that you wouldn't be able to gain or achieve by getting something from nursery, that's probably about 2 years old, and just put a bit more, more movement into them. So no, I wouldn't bother. Sometimes when people say, well, I'll layer that or I'll layer that, and you kind of look at what they're attempting to layer, and you kind of think, well, why are you wasting your time? But if it's the exercise, it's great, because the exercise is better than nothing. As I always say, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't be bothered with any of those pieces. And use your gym clothes to manipulate the wire too.
So do you do that because it's harder now, or do you do that just?
I just find it easier to actually move the wire into position, doing it that way. Yeah. Again, it's a bit messy. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but for the sake of the exercise today, I'm going to clean it all up. Because then it would be a 5-hour demo.
There's a lot in this tree.
There's a lot, exactly. And today was just to get the structure in, and just to give you, particular people that haven't done anything or, had the fortune of actually getting access to material like this. How do you work your way around it, work your way through it? And people that, are just sort of starting off, it might be a bit daunting. That's the whole point of this exercise. It's hard to visualize it with, these
Black blob.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like there. That'll be the apex, but I'll move that up. And obviously some of these will sort of be wired around and we'll fill up some spots in there. It'd be nice if we get something in here, and I reckon I will now. Particularly after I've cut this one off there. I think something else might shoot there, and then it might be a little bit more beneficial for there. Alright, so that's sort of kind of okay for the moment. As I said, we need a bit more work on there, but I'll get rid of this real thick one for the moment anyway. So say we're kind of happy with what's going on there. If this keeps bothering me, I might just put a bit of wire and maybe just, even if it's there, does it still make it look straight there? Like roughly about there.
Okay.
It's not too bad?
No.
Because I might be able to put a bit of wire and then a guy wire and maybe pull it towards the back. So I'll see how we go. Alright, so that we're happy with that being the apex of this tree. So we need to, I would like to maybe make my way up into addressing some of this going on in here, and then I'll come back into this here. Some of that, again, could maybe, how does that look in there? I can't see any of this, so you have to tell me what, if any of this looks like it's, usable.
Yeah, I think that's.
Would you consider the big heavy one below that first, though, that I think...
That?
No, well, no, the other one.
Or that?
No. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That's staying or going?
Isn't that what I was playing around with just then?
I thought you had the one above it.
No, I was playing with
Oh,
these
okay,
two.
yeah, well, no, I think we could remove it.
I don't like the angle that this is coming out of. See, that's really, really straight. So I'm thinking that I'd want to be able to lift this up into here, and then something in there can sort of fill up. Because then that'll actually, if I get rid of this, it'll bring this into place. This tree at the bottom.
So you all of that would go, is it?
Well, I think so. It's just way too straight. We've got all these movement, sort of.
But isn't the other one?
Which one? This one?
That one's straighter.
No, but it's got flexibility that I can actually move it.
Okay.
See?
Yeah. All right.
I can move that into here. Can you see that, Andrew?
You want to flip it around a bit so you can just see it?
A little bit more.
It's all stuck in there.
Just
So this one, I can flex it's got flexibility that I can actually move it and sort of put it into a better position. The one that Quentin's suggesting should stay is this one that's quite straight. I mean,
I did wonder that as well when first looking at the tree, but with all the other stuff as well, it sort of sticks out
quite
again
straight in
a
there.
funny way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, even if I won't get moved. I can bend it a tiny little bit, but I'm not going to move it into anywhere. And then what do? I bring all this around here. It's the only thing that can, at the moment, that it can actually do is bring all that movement around into here.
Unless you shorten it into that little branch at the back.
This, which
No,
one?
the
That
second
one.
one, yeah. So you
Get rid of this.
no, get rid of the on the left, yeah.
Get rid of that.
Get rid of the strong bit that's curving back in,
That whole bit curving back in.
yeah, and then you could actually
That's the
then
nicest bit about it. See?
yeah.
That's the absolute. To me, I really like this. I dislike this.
Yeah.
If I can probably bring it around into here.
Positive thing with that, at least, I mean, it is straight, but it's in terms of flow, it's going with the flow of the rest of the
Of the tree, yeah.
tree, whereas that other branch is not.
But that can be overcome by going and see that. See if I
Doesn't
twist
that one that you got the continuous straight line up from the heavy part?
that one
Yeah.
or this one?
No. This continues as a straight line all the way up through there.
Yeah, but that's what I've got flexibility to move that. That's what I'm saying. So does that though.
I just thought the other one had more on it, more interest on it. But look,
Yeah, it's
you're,
got
you're
that-
closer to it
Yeah,
than I am.
that's the. I really like that. I just
Yeah.
don't like that real straight bit. Let me put some wire on it and see where I can get it up. See, these are the choices that you kind of like, you know, you get when you sort of, you know.
Well, when you've got this sort of material, you know, you've got
Yeah.
so many choices,
Yeah.
and none of it's really bad, let's face it, they're all,
No.
all got merit. Yeah.
If I'm going to wire both of these two together, and then I want to try and see if I can bring some of this around this way. Then it may mean that this goes, because this is in desperate need of light and having its own, you know, character. And at the moment, it's just been really overshadowed by the rest of it. The other thing too is that it's really hard to get it through the door. So, you know, getting stuff through the door is a must.
So the other question, Marcella, is where are you going to put it in your own nursery?
In the garden.
Yeah, because you've got these trees that are quite definitive, like half metre to 800 mils high, and this is like metres to the left.
Yeah, I know. I've got when we go back out there, you'll see that there's the empty spot where it's been sitting there for a while, but it's kind of been overcrowding the other trees beside it. So I'm hoping that I'll take it back a bit more.
There's always a spot, Daryl.
Just winding her up. She always has a big
Now you know what we need to do. We need, they do those things for their cars. Yeah,
the
those,
stackers.
we need that for trees. Someone should invent that, I reckon. So now I'm going to go on to 12, because that chunky, thick, very straight one will definitely need something a bit stronger than that. Not 12, sorry, 10. I was using 12 before. That's why, like, the branching through here it's really nice as an actual front, but everything is nice running through here, isn't it? So I suspect that it might have been grown. This might have been the front, the previous front, hence why everything's coming towards this way.
It looks like it's been pretty well maintained when it's not really as if it's been up against a fence or anything.
No, where it was,
anywhere.
where it was had its own spot, and albeit taking up quite a large chunk of the bench space, which is what Michael's sort of saying. It's just taking up too much space now. I just can't. I don't have the time for it anymore. Alright, can you see me in here?
Yep.
Something black back there.
Yep.
Your hair's nice and dark.
I'm going to go underneath. Obviously the lower the grade, the thicker the wire is and the harder it is to put on. Oh, we'll get there.
I think the quickest I've used is tape. I'm trying to get it off as it is.
Oh, you don't cut it off. You don't try and unwind it.
No, even cutting is an issue.
I have used 6, but
Oh, really?
it was a big, long, thick post. Fine. I'd never be able to use 6 on something like that. It's just too much tight
Force. Yeah.
tight wiring. You know, you can't do it yet. Even 12 on something like this is quite tricky, I think.
Yeah, it's the 10's a bit tricky here,
Yeah.
and I really don't want to lose that nice kink that's got there. I might do actually. Okay, they must have a bit of space. I might actually run that wire on that front one, so that I can just try and get them together. So guy wire them. 14 will do it.
Said that 1 mil you had.
Oh, that'll break. I've got something. Sorry, I'll get hold of it. Just let me have some space there.
And a bit of help, extra hand. with this.
Let me just sort of get it into the position I think I want to have it in. Yep, alright. And once I've done that, I can start pulling it. I shouldn't slip. Alright. Then this is the next issue here. So you'll see this little straight one again here.
Yeah.
First world problems, huh? Okay. Alright, so the idea is to hopefully got to tell me if it's doing anything, which most likely probably won't be. I can't see it from
Pulled
there.
up the front branch, it's lifted it up quite a bit.
Yeah,
This front one?
Yeah.
Too much? Are we getting that the straightness too much now?
Yeah, you're okay for now.
It's okay, yeah.
That's not too bad. Yeah, okay. And that's kind of brought some of this further back in here anyway, so, which is
So
probably
here's the
not
idea
too
then,
bad.
are you trying to then also then bring the smaller branches back to the right?
Yeah, we need something in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely need something in here. And obviously, because once this goes, imagine all that, that massive, all that empty sort of space there. We definitely need something in the back here. Can you see that? Yeah. So some of these will come and fill up in here. And then, and even like these will sort of come into here somewhere. Hence the reason why I don't think that this one's needed, because a lot of that will come around and fill up that gap in there. Sometimes less is more too. Personally, I prefer you've probably heard me say this before, but I prefer sort of less going on, and I want to be able to see into the structure of trees far more than sometimes we design our trees to do. So
think I was wondering in terms of, because I mean, I see the movement and I can see, you know, coming back to the other side, but then was wondering in terms of the length,
The length of?
the remaining branches you're still going to get to, because then you've got this movement is coming back, but you're going to have quite a lot of length to the.
Yeah, yeah.
So then, was the plan to shorten that, or bring it back to the right, or?
So I'm sort of seeing that this tree itself doesn't really need all of this. I would really like to have this tree on its own, which would allow me to bring some of these down into here.
Bring it back in.
Yeah, and opens these up. And then I can probably start chasing that growth back. Because ideally I would like to come back at least this much in terms of the length. It's far too long, right? I don't know, I haven't measured it, but it's probably over, I don't know, maybe 1400, you know, from here to all the way there. So it's way too long.
So you're thinking you'd like to reduce the length of this bottom one, though?
Well, ideally, I would like to really chase that growth back. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, bring it. You know, just maybe into here. So maybe by about 10 centimeters.
Right.
So even this, like, I really like what this is already doing. I think this is really nice already. But like I said, I don't really think that these are all needed in there. If I, you know, see that, like, to me that would have been a better branch to keep, but it's dead.
Yep.
This has got nicer flow, and it would have given me a bit of depth at the back there, at the bottom there, whereas this is just, again, another straight branch, and there's not much we can do with that. I can bring some of these branches up, but in the end, what do? I would prefer to build up something, you know, and have this tree having its own space. And again, then having that negative space that we talk about. You know, so again, it's a matter of where, you know, as I said, I really think that negative space is a bit more subjective rather than, yep, that's where it should be. So you can kind of envisage where these are going to land. Oops. See, the wire's not sitting on there correctly. Anyway, I can sort to that. All of these I can fix up and I can move them, put them into some sort of position and make some sort of a crown up here. So if we work our way up, I really don't like this. I don't mind that little branch in there. And again, I kind of really want to bring this tree back onto itself again. So sort of, you know, compress it a bit. At the moment it's, you know, going too far out. So what do we think? I'll get rid of this.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't think I'm going to miss it.
No, it's straight. It is straight.
Yeah.
You got that branch just to the right of that, which you can bring up. And
That can sit in there.
Yeah.
So that'll do that space quite nicely. And again, it opens it all up. So that'll go.
Yep.
Now, another way of, I'll try and turn so you can see what I'm doing. Just make like a slight sort of cut. And then you just pull at it. The idea was to actually create a bit of interest in here, so it didn't quite sort of work. But usually what I try and do is when I go and make cuts, I don't go all the way and then I sort of try and tear the branch and tear some of that off so that it creates a bit of interest as well. It's probably at the back, so it's probably not visible, but if it was at the front, that's something to think about. So you already see how that's opened it up. It looks much better. Because then now this one can come into play into here. Once I put a wired up, that can kind of sit in here. And again, shorten it quite a bit. So that opens it up nicely in there. And in all honesty, this may not even stay because don't forget, this tree is the one that's really struggling. It's the second tree is the one that's really struggling. I mean, it's got vigor, but where is it? It's got a lot of things going on for it. Alright, so let's just make a call on this one. Because what we decide on this will guide what we do with this one. So, I'm very strong for getting rid of these. What do we think? This one
What
can
else have
stay.
you got off going off the back of that tree?
This one? Nothing.
I agree. Getting rid of that one you said. Have you
Of
got
this
anything-
one?
Yeah, going out the back off.
Well, there's
that
kind of
tree.
like, there's a fair bit, quite a thick branch
You
in
can,
there.
you can, oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
you can pull those out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, it can come into there.
Yeah, okay.
But again, I really want to be able to see something going on in this tree. So, it may not be that I keep this because it might be a little bit on the thick side.
Mm-hmm. You like the top of it though, don't you, that tree?
I like this.
You like that bit, yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. I would prefer that as the apex rather than that.
Okay.
It's a nice movement there's nice movement in there and in that thicker branch.
This one.
Yeah,
or
you
this
see
one?
there's a bit of
This one.
movement so you got that nice dip. Whereas there as well, there's also a dip and then this
Yeah.
is pretty straight.
Yeah.
There's a bit of movement there that also you could pick up.
Yeah, there is. But again, I mean, it's taking me
Where
out.
do you put it? That's
Yeah.
the problem.
That's the problem. I mean,
Think shorten into the side branch. Was that the other one in your hand? Yeah.
that one. Let me see just how leggy it is.
Because that bottom branch underneath it, this one we said this is dead, yeah? Because that would have been a nice branch.
That would
too.
have been the perfect branch
Yeah.
to have. Which unfortunately, and even like, that would have been really nice to have. I mean, unfortunately they died, and they've died because they've lacked the light.
Nice.
So, and again, Melaleucas are notorious for you get those whirls of shoots in the one particular area, which you really need to attend to. So like, I mean, that would probably be a good one to encourage, and then even to bring out here.
Yeah.
This is not sure. This is going to keep getting leggier and weaker because it's just been. So there's not much point to this one in all honesty. I mean, I could bring it out into there, but again, it's this one that's, to me, it's just been lost completely. So I would like to bring some of this down here.
Yeah, you're better off with that.
Exactly.
Coming off that.
Yeah. So that's got to go. So that's gone. So again, we're still not any wiser.
Would you consider taking that off and keep that one in, or this?
I was thinking whether I keep that or yeah. Because this at least is, I could probably push this one, chase this one back a little bit more maybe, and I've got this little one that'll sort of sit in there.
Like Craig said, this one has the most interest because it's sort of
That does that deep, yeah, I agree.
to this.
Yeah, I like that all that, but I just don't like this. I really don't like that.
Yeah, it's a bit shortened.
Yeah, well, shortened, but or removed. I would remove it, to be honest with you. So it's going. Alright. That'll give me some scope into going into there. So there we're going to go into here. And then I can play around with these and sort of position those into somewhere where they kind of look like they're meant to be. Let me shorten that one back a little bit as much as I'm happy to do so, and then see whether we still manage to keep it or not, because I'm not convinced. I really like that, but I'm not convinced of it staying, to be honest. Even if it stays, it wants to sit up here, which makes it kind of like the same level as that, doesn't it? So it doesn't really work for me. What do we think?
Yeah, I reckon so.
The whole thing goes?
Yeah.
I agree. Alright, I'll clean that up. It's much better. See, now it's got its own sort of story.
Well, the tree now also comes forward more.
Yeah,
So then it's then feeding back into the, I suppose, the design.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So now we have to work our way through this one.
Direction.
Yeah, well, you know, the wind's always going. It's gone through a tornado. It's gone through a wash cycle. Alright, so we know what we're doing there. That one I think will probably stay, can sort of sit in the back here somewhere, so that's okay for the moment. That's there. So this doesn't want to be, again, it doesn't want to be overcrowding this. This has to have its own light and space, okay? So that little small one here, I'm just going to get rid of that top one, because I could just move into here if I need it. So, and again, anything
It's strong and straight.
big, strong and straight, I just, I get rid of. So I'll leave that younger one in there. I won't go all the way for now one. When I do the detail of, finer wiring, I can make calls. But already it looks less heavy. And now this tree, again, going with the flow, but it's going to have its own apex and its own sense of being. Alright, remember, this is the one I'm not 100% sure about, because it doesn't need to be there. If it needs to be there, maybe only this branch needs to be there. It doesn't need to have all that there. See? Do we see that? Yeah. So not all that, just that.
Sort of hides behind this branch here as well.
Behind this one?
Yeah, behind this one
Okay, yep.
At the moment, but
Yeah, once I
depends on-
position it, yeah. So I think I want to get rid of this for the moment. For the moment. It's gone once it's gone.
temporarily good.
Temporarily, I've developed a new product, so don't tell anyone about it. It's got really nice, interesting movement through it actually, so I might just, what have I got there and there? Yep, I might get rid of that one. Because that can actually fill in there. Okay, alright. Once that gets lifted up and positioned, that'll be okay. Alright, so we're kind of happy with what is happening with the big tree, yeah?
Yep.
Alright, now let's get on to this, the lost one. So I've got a branch that's gone looking for light, so it's gone through and it's gone desperately looking for light and it's gone towards the back there.
Still underneath one, half chopped off one maybe.
This one or that one?
That one, yeah. I don't know, I can't see what's on it. Maybe.
You know, it's got a branch that goes to the side.
Oh yeah, okay.
Again, it's probably gone looking for light. So see how the main, what you would probably call the main, what probably would have been the apex of the tree, see how thick it is? Can you see how quite thick it is in here? Just going to take some.
Could that whole tree just be pulled down a little bit?
I was wondering whether I'd be able to do that once I saw what was happening in here.
Yeah.
Definitely. But you need to open it up and then I can work out what stays and what doesn't. Definitely don't want this. That's going up. Yeah. A lot of weak branches, dead branches, unfortunately. Like, that would have been a really nice branch. It's dead. Here and there. Alright. Okay. So, do we need this? I'm not sure we do.
No, I don't think you do.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. Even if it's sat even if it's somewhere in there maybe. We're into here. Nope. No, I ain't gonna need it. What do we think? That's the branch we're looking at here.
No, I think it's good enough.
What does everyone else think? Keep it or go? You don't know?
I don't think it matters.
You don't think it matters?
To the,
If you
to
end
the
up
tree.
pulling that other tree down a bit, it's even less necessary.
Yeah, because it's basically horizontal.
Yeah.
So it's too horizontal.
Mm.
So that's the reason why you probably say, oh yeah, maybe I don't need it.
Also distracts and breaks the flow.
Correct.
It cuts
So-
across the front.
When you're choosing branches and you've got a flow, make sure that you don't have distracting branches that are blocking that flow. So the flow's got to be continuous. So if you've got a branch that's breaking that flow, that's when you sort of go, yeah, nah, we get rid of it. So there now we can see that line. Now, so there's a lot going on at the back here. Now have a look. So we've got a lot going on in here. Obviously that's the main trunk line, right?
Yeah.
That's the main trunk line. I might just,
I think that's a good one.
Hmm?
That's a little one you've got, I think is a good one.
yeah, I probably want to keep that. Now it's just a matter of whether that goes, that whole thing goes, and that can sort of sit in there and it opens it up a little bit. I think there's way too many going on in here.
Definitely, yeah.
But then having said that, I need something at the back there.
Mm.
But then that could probably be moved and filled over into there. So that could probably work. So before I make any kind of I don't like, that's quite a strong one. These two are probably flexible and I could probably, move them into some sort of position. So I'll get rid of this one for the moment. And I think that kind of opens it up
I think
and then
they're
it'll
good
work.
branches, those two.
Sorry?
They're nice looking branches.
Yeah, they are. They're interesting on their own, aren't they? And but I like what this is doing in here because that's already creating a bit of height without having to do much to it. So whether that is what I actually keep rather than that one is, I suppose, something we make a call on.
How far can you chase it back, that one?
That long one,
Yeah.
the one I'm thinking of keeping.
Yeah, the one you like to hide in.
I can come back into, they're not, well, that's sort of okay. Yeah, I can probably come back,
To that one.
yeah, I can come back until about sort of, and once these get some light, they'll definitely start sort of taking off. And that's dead. Again, real thick one. See, too many things going on. So always get in there. Get to these sort of growth habits that a lot of the males have. Most of our trees really tend to do it. As early as you can. Make selections, shoot selections as early as you can. Because then you'll end up having this sort of issue. So, the reason why I stopped is because I've got the shoot that's coming in there and I've got the shoot there and I've got nothing here. So it would really depend on where I ended up placing that, whether I get rid of this and then keep going to these little ones. And again, it's all about the wire, where the wire sort of ends up on that. And that's probably not bad, something to sort of lift up. Again, I'll cut it back a little bit. Alright, so I think I might keep that. And if I do keep this one, it might sit in here. But let me see what you guys think. So if I keep this one, it might sit in there. Which means that one probably is not necessary. What do we think?
Yeah, I think that's a good option.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So keep that sits in here. I make some calls in here and get this into position. I think that'll, it's a weaker sort of branch, but I think now that we've taken some of that bigger off some of these, and these sort of sit into here, I think that'll be a much more beneficial branch to keep.
Yeah.
So I'll keep that, and we get rid of
Keep
this
that one temporarily.
temporarily.
Yeah.
All right. For the moment.
For the moment.
All right.
Love it.
Okay. So. All right. We're kind of getting there. Now let's just try and. How far down do we reckon we want to get it? I mean, it'd be really nice if I could. And it ain't gonna happen. But like, do that to it.
Yeah, no.
It's not gonna happen. What I'm trying to do is like flip
Can it
it.
come down and forward a bit?
Nah. What do you mean down and forward?
Well,
Up towards.
yeah, yeah. It's,
Pull right through the drainage hole.
Hey?
Try and pull it down to the side of the.
Yeah.
we can do it.
Yeah. Who knows if there's oh, he did say he'd repotted it last year. Down in what? Down
Down
and
and,
this
down
way.
and then slightly forward, yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see it there too, but
Yeah, I don't know what where the
It
drainage
translates
holes
that
are,
way,
but
but it
I
doesn't
don't
really
really
come
want
down
to
very
build
well.
no.
to in there. Yeah. Yeah.
I could
that's right.
probably maybe go wide into that and then see what that does. That's a strong branch.
I didn't lift the
I
bottom
think
tree
it
up.
can pull the bottom one up, maybe.
You think so?
I think it might, yeah. Or some, yeah, I think it would.
How many drainage holes have you got underneath?
I don't know. I haven't looked yet.
You pick up my side and we'll look.
Huh?
Yeah, come pick it up and we'll look.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Just have a look.
And then you got
There's two. There's only two.
only two in the
two.
middle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Careful.
It's a pity.
No, it's not on the name now. I have to keep reading.
It would be nice to pull it down to the corner of the pot.
Maybe you can tie it onto that part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because they won't let.
That won't lift there, if you can maybe go from there to there.
And pull it down into here.
Yeah.
If I just wide that.
That would help, yeah.
Yeah.
Wide first.
No, it's I really like it. It's coming up really nice. Yeah. Well, I was going to lift this one, wasn't I? So I might as well add that and that together. Michael offered this to me. I was like, oh, it's a big tree. Then I thought, yeah, no, I think it's a great challenge. Alright, so I'm wearing these two, aren't I?
You kind of wonder why you would, I mean, maybe it's too big for him, but, you know, you're never going to find a pine, 3-tree pine planting with all this movement in it. Do you want a hand with that?
Not yet. Let me just finish. Might just get rid of that chunky bit there too.
Probably a bit early to ask, but when you repot this,
Yeah.
how much are you going to reduce the root ball by?
I'll have a good look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, it's going to go into one of my freeform sort of, you know, oval pots there, and you know, I don't like them overly deep, so it would really depend on. I mean, ideally, I would like to maybe not have it raised up so much.
Yeah.
I would like to maybe, if I could, get it into there, but that's a hell of a lot of root ball too. So what I might do is just possibly just put it into one of those plastic grown-on pots and reduce it down sort of slowly, just to see, you know, what the roots are doing.
You do know that I have a similar one of these at home. I think mine. How many trees has mine got? 5, 7? I can't remember. But I'd like to reduce it from the pot it's in, but you reckon a bit doubtful?
For what you want to put it into, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, particularly because it's not overly.
No, it's not hugely big, is it?
No, not at the moment. Not after it's come off the.
Fell off the stand.
Yeah.
I don't think that these can take a real hard root prune too
Yeah.
well. I think, yeah, it kind of does tend to set them back, no matter the amount of foliage that you have on them. I think it tends to set them back a little bit, more so than some other Melaleucas. Alright, someone's going to have to pull it towards me.
The branch?
Yeah.
And you slip out.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll catch it later on.
Okay.
Oh, you hit half of it?
And I'll ask her to look at it.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll catch
Oh,
it.
is it on there? Yep. Alright, ready?
Yep.
It's not slipping.
Not yet.
There it goes. Let's see what's that's doing. That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
I don't think I want it any more than that.
I don't think so. I think it's about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good going.
That's good.
That's good there? Yeah.
It's just it's the balance between the three branches now.
You get it?
Yeah. Yeah, now we can see all three. No, that's good. Alright. The only thing I'm probably not overly happy with, because there's some really nice movement there, but there it looks really flat. Can you see that now? Like, there's really nice movement on this side, but now there it just looks really flat, so
Can you bring it up? And just,
that's what I'm going to see
yeah.
if I can do, yeah.
Hard though, isn't it?
Literally hard.
Well, no, it's hard because it's a pretty thick branch, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
No, that's what I
massively
mean,
thick,
yeah.
but it isn't a
Yeah, it's an
Melaleuca.
old branch that, yeah. Yeah, oh, that's alright, tell me that little thing.
Oh, goodness.
I don't think it's gonna happen. It almost needs to, I need to twist it.
Reckon maybe another row of wire in it, perhaps.
I don't think the amount of wires the issue, it's the
Yeah,
thickness of the branch, it's just too thick. It's almost like putting wire on and then guy wire again and then,
yeah.
Is it kind of like made it a little bit,
It is. It's kind of
a little bit better?
It's still, yeah. You'd like it better, but it can only go so far.
Yeah. I'll run one more piece, but I'll do what did I do then? I did a 10.
You think the bottom one is just a lot greener because it's been shaded? Or would it be maybe
This one.
different variety, you think, maybe?
Well, it's not the true gold gem. So
No.
it'd be the Revolution gold, yeah. So I think it obviously gets impacted by the amount of the exposure that it gets, I guess.
Yeah.
So now there's a lot more light that's going to get in there now.
Oh.
Everything's going to have much more light coming through. So in theory the tree should benefit from that. So I've got 3 in there. When I go to do the finicky wiring and placing, that's when I would get rid of it. But and how I would make that decision again would come into what's probably got branch little shoots sort of lower down, right? And see how this one's quite sort of most of the shoots are sort of quite far up towards the tip. So that's how I would sort of shoot up. So make a selection of which one I would keep. So I've got this one that's got quite a lot of branches and quite many low down. I would definitely get rid of that and I would keep that. as the other branch.
Yeah,
Okay?
you can just get rid of the middle one for the
Yeah.
time being.
Yeah, for the time being. Yeah. For the moment. For the moment. Shut up.
Three.
Nah, it's good to joke around. Life's too serious. For all of the 3 or 4 views that it'll get, at least hopefully it'll make the 3 or 4 people laugh. Alright, so now let me have a look at it so that I can decide where. Yeah, I still hate the straightness of that thing. Maybe if I can swing it this way a bit, it might make it look a little bit more interesting.
What if you, this is a bit controversial maybe, but get rid of the bit that you're holding there right now and
Yeah.
leave the small bit.
That little bit.
No,
Bottom branch.
this bit, get rid of that.
Oh, okay, and bring that out. Yeah, the only issue is that see how much further back, again, remember we're
Yeah.
trying to chase that growth
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
That's the only issue. The growth on this is far sort of closer in, because this will obviously get cut back quite hard. I didn't finish the wiring on this, so that might actually help. See if I can twist it up a little bit more.
You might find over time one of those secondary branches will become the leader on it. And
Yeah,
that'll give
that-
you the movement. you
That
need.
might, that
Yeah.
might actually be the one,
Yeah.
later on as well. So what I will do is when I go to wire this, I'll probably put that in a position so that it starts growing in the direction of where that could possibly take over as the, as the apex of this particular tree. Does that make any difference? Again,
I think
you
it
can't probably see that because of that, don't you? But once that gets sort of wired down,
Yeah. And I do think if you make that secondary branch eventually,
Yeah.
the one,
It'll be the better
movement
one.
won't be-
Yeah.
It'll be much better taper and it'll be better movement.
yeah. Well, the taper's going to be a long time, but
Yeah, but it'll happen.
okay, that's not too bad through there. All right, now this one. Now does it need it? Let me have. I can't see what you guys are saying there, so I don't like that branch coming down. If it's going to stay, yeah, I think that can stay. I'm not overly keen on the angle that's coming down, so let me see what I can do with that if it stays. Well, I'll have to rewire the bloody thing, don't I? I just don't like that angle that it's coming out at. Does that make much of a difference?
Yeah,
Does it look any better?
it's still not a great angle from the main trunk, but the whole branch itself looks a lot better.
Okay. Alright. Now, so is that needed?
Is there anything coming off the base of that branch you got your hand on? No, that one.
This one? Not much. Very weak, really weak branches.
No, I think I'd probably try and keep it for now.
Yeah. Again, it's not overly strong. I mean, it's got a bit of growth, but it's not overly strong. But yeah, I agree. I'll keep it for the moment. I'll place it and see whether when I place it, whether I'm happy with it, where it sits, and if it doesn't. If it doesn't sit in on a great spot, yeah, that's a bit better, that one. Okay. And these two are, I like where these are coming out at. So these are good. That can all be filled in. That's fine. That's going to sit in here in there. We were sort of discussing that's going to sort of sit there.
Yep.
Correct? Yep. We're happy with that. Then we're happy with all that. Yeah. All right. So I can do some there. Bit heavy. No. Okay. Alright. I'll just put some sort of branches in. Those ones are okay. Maybe I might wire up some of this one. And I'll wire up some of that. Just to give you more of an idea. And then I think the structural sort of wiring will pretty much be done.
Yep.
It's the finicky stuff that's going to take me, a lot longer.
Certainly makes more sense now than when you started.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
But did it make sense how we got there? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the point of the exercise, just to make sure that you could sort of, if you ever encountered this, you can work your way through it. There's no right or wrong. It's just slowly, and and sort of work your way through. And
See, like Marcella, most people would ordinarily start on the low tree and work your way up, but basically you start on the high tree, because that there's going to give more sense to the whole direction.
Correct,
yeah.
usually we start off with a directional branch, and when we're doing in conifer design, or with conifers, the low branch is when most of the time is when it's applicable, because you always have the one branch, the flow, the leading sort of branch or the main branch that directs the flow. I sort of turned it upside down, but made this as my sort of directional kind of.
That was a really key branch to keep.
Yeah,
I know Craig was a bit keen to get rid of it, but it would have looked really.
Yeah, exactly. You need, as I said, negative space is subjective, but sometimes you need it there because it makes sense. So for me, getting this branch into that position, it's not in an ideal position, but it's sort of there. And once I do the finicky wiring, and I place the actual the pads, it'll make more sense.
It's gone for a very strong windswept direction, more of an upright, windswept and upright.
Kind of, yeah.
That and up. Wind stop flowing.
I guess that's a discussion, and why I get very frustrated with the windswept design, because the wind isn't always blowing. At some point, it does stop. So your whole tree shouldn't just be like that.
Wind affected.
I've just come back from Phillip Island. A lot of the trees, big mooners, leaning over in that direction, over the sea, because they've been undermined over the years, and this sort of gives me the impression, not so much wind's blown it that way, there's been some undermining, the trees just gradually toppled over.
Yeah.
Not toppled, but rolled over, and I think that's the sort of look it gives to me.
And now you can really see, and I'm going to be extremely mindful of keeping the pads really small, right? Because to me, the structure of the tree is what is what makes this tree the tree. The foliage is there just as a yes, I'm alive. Yes, I'm healthy. I don't want to have massive pads because personally I just want to see structure. That's what attracts me to seeing trees. So that's how I will treat them. Once I start developing all the little pads and the little clouds or whatever you want to call them, they're only going to be extremely light. I always want light coming through and just want to be able to see. But now we can see into the structure, and I'll send this to Michael, and he's gonna love it. So I'll just wire some of these into position. Again, I don't want to lose this, so what I might want to do is maybe raise it up a little bit, just so I can keep seeing that, but I don't want to lose that.
No.
So it's just getting that,
beautiful.
So when you got if you can create a little hook to anchor from, makes it a lot easier than, rather than having to waste a lot of wire too. No, can't get to it.
Oh, you've got that on the deadwood, have you?
Yeah.
So I was wondering why you didn't take it all the way down. It's just deadwood.
No. That's it.
So with that deadwood, I see it's still got its bark on it.
This one?
Yeah, that one hanging down there.
Yeah.
Would you turn it into a gin or just leave it as it is?
I might see if I can expose some of it. I think it's quite, interesting in there.
Yeah.
So I might see if I can expose some of it. As I said, I don't mind gin if it tells a story and there's a reason for it. I just don't like them just when it's there just because. And as you're wiring, as you get more and more confident with your wiring, try and use heavier gauge for your branches rather than, just your typical sort of, okay, if it's a branch that a 2 mil will kind of do, go the next one up. And the reason being is because what will happen is it'll, if you don't get the time to get in there and unwind it or cut it out, it won't grow over as quickly, cut in as quickly. But that's just as you're wiring it, you get more confident with your wiring. And again, I'm going to twist it. Always twist with the direction of the wire. It just gives you more movement. Okay. So again, I'll just take it down to the thinner stuff. We don't want it going into there too much. Right, again, a little bit more wire in there, but I think that that's not too bad there. It's hard to see because that one's not sitting in the spot. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it works good.
Again, once I put, finicky wire on that, and chase it back, it should come up a little bit better. Alright, now this one. And that one kind of wants to sit probably in there somewhere. So I will do that, putting that together. I always find it curious to how will I put an international treat it.
Sorry?
An international, yeah, how they would treat it. How would they tackle it? What would they do to a tree like this?
Sometimes using copper on the thinner wires, thinner branches as well. Not just use aluminium.
No, I'd rather just have it all uniform. I mean, I could have used a thinner gauge for this, but I've got to lock that off to something, so I might as well. Because I'm comfortable and I'm confident using it, I don't mind using something thick on such a smaller branch. But if you weren't confident, then obviously But you could use a mixture of both. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you. You could I could have used aluminium on this, but as I said, some of these branches, I would have had to use quite a thicker gauge on some of these. So I want to drop this one down a little bit, just to sort of get you to look at this. By dropping it down, I get you to sort of engage with this there. And again, so dropping it down, and you get to see this.
Yep.
Again, finicky wiring on a lot of these, but that's right.
So, getting back to the finicky wiring, and we can 4 or 5 hours tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
No, next time we do it.
Yeah,
will be a lot in there.
I reckon almost a day.
Yeah.
More like it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, probably not tomorrow, and not Monday, will probably be Tuesday.
Okay.
So it'll be to be continued. That's there. Alright, these are giving me the jeebers, so I'm just going to wire it and make them make a bit more sense. See then? Okay. Now, let's see if I can get a bit more twist onto this one without snapping it. Let's cross our fingers. Okay. I'm just trying to get, if that's still alive, if that won't survive, that'll be in a good position.
Where
Okay?
did it crack?
Just
On
there.
the junction. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it? Oh,
Yeah.
it was above.
No. Right at the junction, so it might not pull through. I'll just push it back into it on itself. But if it doesn't anyway, I've got that, and that's a good spot. That's actually good stuff for that branch there. So what I'll do is I'll just take off. And you've got to expect breakages. As careful as we try to be, it's inevitable that it will happen. So. Okay, that's not bad there. That'll sit in there, and that's okay there. Alright, so now these two have got their own sort of area here, and that's moved it away from there. That one's a bit dicky, but I'll wire that out, and I'll get that away from there. But it just gives you an idea anyway. And now, in terms of the length, to me, this is the one that's got to set the actual, how far out it comes out.
You mean front?
The front of it, yeah, towards the front, yeah. So the width, I suppose, if we want to call it, or the depth of the tree. So I don't want it any sort of, I don't want it any deep further out than that. Possibly even further back in if I can, but I'll have to be slowly chasing that back. Right, so that'll go into there. And I never have flat pads either. I always try and create like little step ups. But obviously, again, it's all the finicky stuff that I'll be doing all that with. But it's the most of it. This point of today is the structural sort of wiring. Again, all of these will have to be wired out, and I'll make that a little bit better. But so I'm happy with that. We need to sort out the height of this. So let's sort out in here now. So if we can have a look at it, I'm going to go around the back. Now I've wired that, I can't remember why we haven't placed it. I haven't placed it yet, but I'll leave it there. So I've got quite a lot going on in here. Probably don't need, can you see all of this?
Yep.
Can you see that? You can't see it?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I can see it, but like at the moment with all of the other
Yeah,
stuff, it's sort
yeah.
of
So I don't think I need all of that. I mean, I've got that branch coming out to there. Either these two stay as they're coming out of that junction. These two stay, and that goes, or that goes, that stays, and that comes towards the back.
That one's a bit thick.
I agree. It's a bit thick.
And this
It's
one's
a
got
big-
a little whorl in it, so.
Yeah. So we'll address that by probably keeping, depending on where. I need to look at it from the front, not through the back. I probably shouldn't. We don't need this, do we? Do you think we need this somewhere here?
I think it needs something.
You use
Some
the anchor.
depth there.
That's
At
what I
this
said.
stage, I
No, I know, but I think I must have decided at one point we were going to keep it, but it's really weak.
think it needs some depth on that.
Yeah.
On that branch. Doesn't have to go straight away, but
I'll keep it for now.
yeah.
All right, let me come around to you, so I can see what you're saying. Actually, don't mind that little kink there.
Yeah, I think that top one's better than the bottom one.
So But if I get rid of that, there's not much on
Is
that.
there not much on
See?
it? Yeah, okay, alright. Maybe you got
So-
to get rid of the top one, do you?
Well, no, I could probably get rid of this, and then that allows me to put a bit of movement into that.
Okay.
Yeah? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Because then at least it allows me to bring this and make a little bit of a, a directional movement into here. If I keep that one, it's almost going up higher, and I want it to kind of like probably follow a bit of that just to continue that flow. So I think I'll get rid of that one there. And that'll, see, it'll come into there, and that'll fill in there. I think that's a much better one to get rid of. Alright, and then it's a matter of the apex. So, I like what's going on in through here because I can still, it's flexible enough, I can put movement into it. And then I could probably bring it in here like this. Bless you. What do we think? Let me
No, we could take the top of it off.
I can already create a bit of depth by keeping it.
Okay. By twisting it.
By twisting it. So rather than starting and trying to create an apex from something quite, what I sometimes tend to do is if I've got something that's got quite a lot of branching in it, I'll put a bit of a twist in it and actually bring it down. And then I've already got it like an instant sort of apex, and then I start developing my apex from there. It's just a quicker way of doing it. And the taper isn't too bad that, to me, it makes it believable. Right? Because then if I sort of went into something thin, I'm sort of starting all over again, and again it'll sort of start, it's the vigor and all of those sorts of things. So I think it's a reasonably healthy, strong branch. I think it's worth keeping.
Would you consider taking that away from under my hand?
That
and
little
then
one?
Keep this. No, keep that. So take what I've got away.
Yeah.
And then that's your apex. This stuff.
That back one?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like having an apex coming from the back.
Okay.
Because of that angle that it's going out, and then I've got to bring it back towards us.
Okay.
Right, so I'm not a big fan of having an apex that comes back from the front, sort of from the back. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So it's going so far away from us, then I have to force it back into here. And then also too, I'll have to, if I do that, then I'm losing all of this. Obviously, I agree we could definitely get rid of that if we did that.
What's this one like?
This one or that?
I don't know.
That one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's probably much of a muchness in terms of that. If I was going to do that, and if I had nothing else here, I probably would keep that, and go to that, and then probably get rid of that one. Okay, and then I start developing my apex from there. But I think let me wire this one, and I can show you what I mean, and then you can see why sometimes I prefer to select and go down that path. All right, I'll wire that up and I'll show you. Then what I'll do is I'll anchor this and this together, and then that way I can move that into position and it opens it all up. I've never used it, 8 gauge, and I think if I had to, I probably would have been, I'll get rid of the branch. If that one that we there laid had a bit more movement in it, it probably would have been the can that probably 8. You probably try and maybe manipulate it. How much you would have moved it, hate to say it, but a strong male would have got probably a bit more movement, but then at the same time you'd be forcing quite a lot on there, and sometimes it's a matter of, okay, so what are you gaining, right? And if you're not going to be gaining much, then there's no point. So I'm just going to clean this up here. Again, just so that the wire sits on there a little bit nicer. Alright. I'm going to leave myself a gap just in case we do end up deciding to, possibly go with what you suggested. If I need to wire, I can get a wire behind there.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes when you're wiring, just think of these options as well. Keep yourself space if you need the space to apply a wire. So always think about the next wiring job that you have rather than just what you're doing at that time. Now get rid of these here, just see what I'm going to do there. This is where it's going to get finicky.
Yeah.
This is where you pay extra close attention. Okay, that's there. Leave that handle for a moment.
Yeah, that little tiny branch is just trying to get in the way.
Yeah. The thing is that I might need it, but now I've broken it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
When you're wiring and you've got this fine foliage, does it matter so much to be sort of crushing one or two of them? I mean,
ideally, you don't want to be crushing the foliage if you can. So, for example, if that was full of foliage, then I'd probably go in there and pluck some of it out,
right.
just to so that you're not wiring over, because those could possibly be shoots that you possibly need at some point, right? So that's why you've got to be mindful. So but if you pluck off the leaves, doesn't mean that those shoots won't shoot back, right? Because the shoots are still.
So you'll strip the leaves off the branch rather than take the branch off.
Yes, yeah. It's almost there. Now, let me bring it back. See how much I've twisted it? Don't need that. I kind of do, but because it's so thick and ugly in here. It's not the prettiest of branches in there, but anyway, hopefully it'll develop into something a bit nicer. Now I had, while I'm thinking of it, we're always told to get rid of all the shoots that are growing underneath. If some of those callistemas have got that nice sweeping sort of foliage, we're never going to be able to achieve that because that's old age, right? But one way you can kind of try and attempt getting it is actually leaving the shoots that are actually growing down. Don't forcibly try and wire that something that naturally wants to grow up, and then with age will grow down. So what you do is, if you've got those little shoots at the bottom, allow those to extend, and they will naturally give you that sort of flowing, effect. If you look at a lot of those older callistemons, there's quite a few actually along Wizard Street towards the end. There's a beautiful old one, and yeah, the weeping foliage, just the way it just starts, it's just stunning. But if you look at where it actually comes from, it's all from underneath. There's nothing growing from above, right from the top of from the top side of the branch and growing down. Most of it just grows from underneath. It's really good to get in the habit of, and I know we all do this. We all look at trees totally different than your mere mortals, right? Because of what we do, what we're interested in. But to give you an idea of, how I know, the growth of the habit, that the growth of some trees it's a really good idea just to sort of stand underneath one or study something that you're really interested in, and don't like it. And
I don't like it either.
You don't like it either?
It had right bend.
Yeah, I agree. I concur for the moment. Get underneath the tree if you can, stand underneath it, just view where the branches actually come from. just to give you the idea of age, which is what we're trying to recreate, which, you know, it's going to take us a long time with some of the trees, but anyway. Alright, so yeah, I already like what it's doing. Alright, get rid of the wire. And I'll clean it up so it makes a little bit more sense to you as to why I've decided to go down this path. Move that towards at the back. So say that goes wide in there, this real thick one will be gone. Maybe wire that into there, and that one stays but this one goes. And the reason why this one's, I should explain to you why that one, you probably can't see it, but I've got this that's going to sit in here. Right?
Right.
Yeah, that one's going to sit in there. That's going to give me some depth at the back here.
Yep.
And there's no point of this one being so close to this one, right? Because it's something, all of these will develop and will fill into there. Alright. So can you see why I've already got like an instant sort of apex?
Yeah.
Just by keeping that and going down that path. Of course, some of these little ones, you know, will need to be wired up a little bit, but again, it's just all the finicky sort of wire. But I'll wire these two together so it gives you an idea what I'm trying to create. And I wish the air layer took right away.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Pretty nice, but it's one of those patient things, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's okay. I know the reason for leaving it there, you know what I mean? It wasn't because I was undecided and I was like, well, maybe I should leave it there. Because sometimes, and I always say that, I've probably said this to you guys already, but you know, the worst thing you can do is do nothing, right? Yeah, sometimes you just need to make that decision, and that tree it is going to hopefully be a tree, just completely went contradictory to what we were trying to create. So rather than chop it off, let's learn another technique, or let's play around with another technique, and and get ourselves hopefully another tree, which hopefully if it takes, I can either sell or play with or whatever. Again, finicky wire and placement, and then that one, and yeah, so I'll just put some on this. And I won't rub it into that, but I'll just put some on that. So that's the 18, so that would be equivalent to what, like a 2.5 maybe?
Yeah, 2 maybe.
2 maybe.
Size-wise, but
Yeah.
you say it's different than aluminium.
Well, it's not really. I mean, this one's, you know, you can actually unwind this. You know, if you really wanted to, you can unwind it. But the problem is that it's like when you unwind it, you can't pull it taut. You know, you can't straighten it. I know people say watching someone unwind is boring, but I kind of disagree.
You asking us or telling us?
No, it's good to see the tree sort of develop, I think. You know,
Yeah.
and this is the only way you see it.
That's right. I think seeing the wiring in anticipation of what's going to happen after you wire.
But I think that the bit that people sort of miss is watching the technique. You know what I mean? It's easy for us to drift off and go, you know, not really watch the technique. It's kind of doing it, but I would prefer it if I had like 16, would have done a better job. Again, because the holding power is not quite there. But anyway, it's doing the job, and I can always replace that anyway. So this is going to be beneficial for the branch, but I want to cut off the length of the strong bit. So when I wire that down, that'll take over, right? So that's where you sort of make your trims, your cuts. And there's a lot of finicky stuff in here which I'll just attend to. But it gives you an idea of where it's going, doesn't it? So all of that will be wide. Now this one, as I said, it's a bit of a, I'm not overly keen on that angle, like the straightness of it, but I do like that. So, and then maybe
I think you need it for now.
I do need it. I definitely need it. Yeah, it definitely needs to be there. And maybe it's a matter of, you know, maybe wiring that and sort of placing it sort of, and maybe we're keeping this here, aren't we?
Which?
That one there. Is
I
that?
think so. Yeah.
Do we want it? What do you reckon? We bring it up into here a little bit.
That's about where it needs to be.
Yeah, so I'll wire that and I'll bring that out here. So I'll do that first, and then we'll work our way into that. All right, can we see that better now? That's okay then. Yeah, that's right. Let's move that little bottom one.
That's good.
This one, just go up, come towards this way a bit, so it's not getting shaded by that one.
What about these bottom ones at the back there?
Here.
No, down, right down low. Yeah, about there.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's going to sort of stay for the moment.
Okay.
Put it in there, but don't want that. We'll put that somewhere in there, and then I just need to do these two. But I want to get that done, and then I can work on these. And if you guys want to get going, I'll get that done. So let's work through that bit there, and then these two need to be opened up. And I need quite a bit of time with these anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so I'll wait. The photo's not going to go up. It's just
You've
going
got a
to.
lot of time.
Yeah.
You'll have to be pretty happy where it ended up.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Like that, I'll see how now that's quite straight. I'll pull a bit more wire onto there and I'll bring that into there. So if I can just sort this, that'll sort of shorten it into here. Yep, I'll fix that in there. I don't like that, so I'll get rid of this. That in there. I'm not sure about this one, but I'll keep it for the moment. This is, it's going to be hitting into there.
I am just looking at this one. I know you were thinking about whether to keep it like this piece. Now, it does look.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite fit in
No,
with the rest of the image.
It doesn't. And I might just have to, because then these can got their space and they can actually go in there. So no, I agree, that's going to have to go.
Yeah, I think so.
It's way too thick and
And like, you always had the problem, it didn't have any nice movement anyhow.
the movement is nice through the other side.
Okay.
So look at the back.
Oh, it is, yes.
See the back?
Yeah,
It's actually the movement's.
Yeah.
So the movement is in there, unfortunately. I'm cutting it off now. It's like torturous. Okay.
It'll be much better in the long run.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
And now that can sit into there.
And the other one can come down a bit.
Yeah.
No, much nicer.
A bit of a gap there. I'm just going to take the wire into here. That's a bit better. Yeah, once I wire that other one out and open that up, that'll make more sense in there. Alright, now. That's better. Yep, much better.
It is, it's much nicer.
Yep. Yep. Okay, alright, happy with that. Yeah, those ones at the back. Yeah, I'll do that little droopy one. It's got a really funny, it's got like straight, very straight angle coming out of the branch, and it's like it's hit this, so it's going, okay, I've got to come this way. So it's going straight through it. You see there?
Yeah.
It's going straight through. You know, started growing straight, then it's hit that, and then it's going, oh, I've got to go looking for light.
Yeah.
Which makes it tricky to wire. That's what I was trying to get at.
What size is that?
This is 12, yeah. Need to tweak that. Alright. Alright, now where does it want to be sitting? And now we've got it. There's good actually.
That's better.
Yeah. I'm going to just put a bit of jiggle on that straight bit. That's another bonsai term, bit of a jiggle.
Jiggle?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually the Japanese came up with that. It means something else probably.
So we've got just for the moment and jiggle. That's the new vocabulary that we use here at Native Inspiration Bonsai.
Come jiggle with Native Inspiration.
It's got a ring to it.
You know one, you know why.
Yeah, come jiggle before you buy.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that piece is sitting there. Okay, I think that's. Does it look still straightish? Ah,
You
there you
crack
pushed it. Yeah, that's alright. Alright, that's okay then. Alright.
I reckon you've done a great job.
Yeah, I think it's come up alright.
Yeah.
You're good.
We'll play around with all of these
Yeah,
in
no,
the
you
next
got-
couple of days, and you know, there's a lot of wiring to do, but the main thing's there.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you just get it
Yep.
all?
Yep.
So I'll work on something a little bit obvious for the blob, to hide the blob when we get it finished. But yeah, I think it's
You've done a great
It's
job.
come up nice.
It's come up really
Yeah.
nicely.
It's great.
compared from where it was. I think it's come up really nice. It's going to be a really interesting tree.
Where you got it?
Just the first bench as you walk in.
Oh, yeah.
I moved some other trees around and I put it there. So that's the only spot that I can pretty much have it. So, and if I swing it the other way, at the moment it was flowing. I mean, it's facing this way, but if I swing it to try and turn it, you know, for
Do you spin the trees much?
in certain spots yes, and in certain spots I don't need to because the sun gets
All around.
Yeah, it gets all around. Yeah, but where the sun isn't there, you know, a lot, particularly over winter, I definitely do turn them.
Yeah.
It's in the north that way.
North certainly.
Yeah. So now half of my garden, well, not half, but good, probably a third of it doesn't get much sunlight at all now. So, but over summer it's just full direct.
Right.
Thank you for that. I
No.
enjoyed that.
Thank you for coming.
It's been good.
We're working our way through it. It was good. I hope you picked something out, got something out of it, Andrew.
Definitely
You
do.
always get stuff out. Whatever you
Definitely,
team
yeah.
get something out for sure.
That was the whole point, you know, just to show
Mm.
people, you know, how you work your way through things. So, yeah. So thank you. Hi everyone, Native Inspiration Bonsai here with you. As promised, here's the video of the final setting of the branches of the Melaleuca bracteata. I'm pleased with the result of it, although it is still quite a wide tree. So hopefully I'll be able to chase some of that growth back and bring it in a little bit so it actually fits through our gate. Anyhow, we're hoping to have the video available on our YouTube channel soonish once we work our way through the editing process. But just quickly, if you're wondering on the photos that I put up, this big branch here was air-layered during the demonstration. The reason being is because it didn't really fit in with the flow of the tree. So for the sense of showing you what the actual tree looks like, I'll just cover it up. And the reason why I decided to air layer it was two reasons. One, to show the process to a couple of the people who were present at the demonstration, but also because this particular branch has actually got really nice taper and movement, so it would have been a shame and a waste to just completely cut it off. So hopefully the air layer will take, and I'll probably know in about 6 to 7 weeks, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So here it is. Now we can see the actual three trees, and they're all pretty much now individual trees, but within all part of the design. So we're going to zoom in. Nick's going to zoom in, and she can show you around it all and see how it all looks. And hopefully it's not going to fall as I try and spin it. I won't spin it all the way. It just gives you an idea of what was done. I spent about 6 hours doing the more detailed wiring on Sunday, and as I said, I'm pleased with the results. Everything's in place of where I think it should be. I'm going to try and crank some of these back a little bit more, because obviously there's so much foliage, and that a lot of branches, twigs that were here have died off, so we need to develop some foliage around here to start, and particularly here too, to develop some branching over here, but that'll come with time. And once I get it repotted, it'll go crazy as well. So I need to make a pot for it, so that's another process in itself. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. As I said, I'm really pleased with the result, and stay tuned for the video on our YouTube channel. But bear with us, we are getting our heads around the whole thing, okay? And yeah, thank you again for your support. It means a lot. And thank you for all your comments and stuff. It's really encouraging too. So thank you, and enjoy your day.